Hi there everybody, how's things? How exciting is this? It's our last block before we start to make up our quilt. It's yeah, quite a one. We've been through set 1, set 2, now obviously the last one of set 3 here, so we thought we'd save the clock or the watch till the last and see where we head with it. I think looking at it, I'm going to simplify it a little bit today, but there's lots of parts in it. So depending on with the fabric, sometimes you want to ease off it a little bit. But let's just see how it goes, shall we? And see where it ends up. Hi there, everybody. So what am I doing? I'm just finding the centre of my little square here, just to be sure that I know where I'm going from. It's only a little by eye kind of thing. So I don't want to go too sort of pedantic and measure it because it doesn't matter, does it? So I know, Christine, it's really excited, isn't it? It's almost like it's 12 weeks. Where's it gone? So, okay, I'm going to start with this bit. And just to sort of be sure, I think we've got the same one. We've got this bit and this bit and then this bit here. So hopefully that's what we've all got as well. And I'm going to start with the frame. And again, just to be aware, I can actually line my dots up with my little crossies so we can put them in the right place. And I am going to come in straight away with my pen because what I want to do is mark every dot on there. So that's the first sort of protocol. And I'm not sure if I want to keep the outer frame, so I'm just going to put these dots in first. And then I can always come back in and put that frame in afterwards if I want to. So I'm going to change it up just a little bit. So you see there I'm actually drawing around. Oh, a second. Just my dots there. You see they go in at a slight angle. And that's because we want it to go around the clock face. We don't want them too square. So the angle's already been prepped for you. So don't rush this, just let it take you in and just sort of relax with it. But make sure that you get every dot in there. And again, I am drawing around the whole thing and not just putting a little mark in. So these are going to be part of the design as we work our way around it. So I am going to draw in the inside frame. So let's put that in. Nice and gentle. Now before I remove this, I'm going to put in this little section too. So this is sort of the top sort of part of the clock. Now you can choose to have that in, or I might actually just go straight across it and have it as the main shape there. But that's the beauty of these stencils. They're not set in stone, so you can do your own thing with them if you want to. So I'm going to do that. Let's take that way. See, I've got that space there. So I turn it round, put that back in. I should be able to, or shall I do it by hand? Line that up. So I've got that shape across the top. So I'm just removing really the need for that bit there. So when it comes to my next stencil in, 1 second, doesn't want to be picked up. There we go. I'm going to leave that bit off. Okay. So you can see I've got a little difference there already. So I might as well put that in and put that one in. And I'm going to draw around that inner frame as well. Now again, you can put a little bit of tape around this to hold it in place because it is a little bit fine. So if that's what you want to do, or you want to do it in your friction pen so you can iron it away afterwards, you can do that too. Okay, there we go. So I've got that shape. The centre bit is just sort of purely a little bit of a guide, so I'm just going to do the middle one with my friction pen, and I'm going to leave these dots. I'm going to come back to them afterwards, but I've put the centre in. And I think I will actually just fill that bit in there. Okay, so far, just a quick recap. I've drawn all my dots and I've drawn the inside the frame. I've then taken the next bit in and I've drawn around the shape, but I've ignored this bit and I've just gone straight across. I know, Terry, block 12 already. This one, I've drawn the inside, and then this one, I've marked the middle. So that's my stencil just for now sorted, and I've got that shape. You can put the outer frame in, but I might just leave it. I don't know if I want to sort of do all that. So let's have a little look at it. It's quite heavy, and with it being on fabric, I thought we might knock it down a little bit. So you see it's got the little dots, and it suggests these little teardrop shapes all the way over, creating this. Then it's a filled in line, and then it's an extension of the dots, creating these other curves as we go along. We then move into we can fill it with bubbles or lines. So that's in this one, look then, we've got dots in there, or you could do it with lines. There's quite a lot going on, but I want to just see where it goes. So first of all then, let's go in with these curved lines, and I'm going to do it systematically. So I'm going to put that one in first, and I'm going to go all the way around putting that one in, because remember, if you do it and build it up at any point, you can stop. You can think, do you know what, that's enough, I don't want to do any more of this. It's got enough in it. You see what I'm doing? I'm following the angle of those lines, so I know exactly what shape I'm creating and where it's going. So each one, it's following it round. Same with this one. So for the rest of the week, once you've done this, you've got to decide what order you want to put these in your quilt, because that obviously has an effect on the next step of putting these, or putting the borders around each one of these. So it's something you need to think about. But that means sort of getting them all out, putting them on the floor and having a look. Okay, so there we are, we've got that. It doesn't matter at the moment which way, is it upside down or not, doesn't matter, because I've took that bit out the top. So that's the first little bit. And then what it's suggesting is to go across here and down this one. But again, I'm going to do it one at a time just to see how I feel with it. So it's sort of creating a bit of a zigzag in a place, and then it's going across as well. So let's have a look. Do I want to go this way, or am I going to go across? Decisions. I think, let's have a look. I could try it, look, with my friction pen first. Do I want to go across? Like that. And then I could do that one. Or do I want to do that and go in that way? See, I quite like the idea of that one. And this is the beauty of this, isn't it? I can erase that once I've put the iron on it. So, okay, I'm going to start in the other corner then. And I'm going to go from here, and I'm going to go diagonally, creating a bit of a zigzag. So let's just check that again, look. If I go down here, up, down, up, down, up, down, it is gonna join at the right part. Down, up, and it's going to give me the right amount there. So it's always worth trying and just checking first. So I'm going to go from that dot to that dot, like that. There we are. You see I've gone dot to dot. And then I'm going to go from that one to that one. And then that one. And then that one. And that one. And this is the nice thing as well. If you're not sure, you can always go to a little bit of paper first and just try a few out, and just to see how you feel about it, rather than go straight in if you're not sure. As I said, I don't want it to be as heavy as if I was doing it on paper. So I'm sort of slimming the design down a little bit. So again, just creating that little zigzag shape. So when I get to here, we're going to ignore the red because I've decided I'm going with that angle. And I don't have an iron up here to iron that out, so I can do that later. And along. Now I did post some information the other day about wadding, and the different kinds, I directed you to a really good website that gives you the information. And I also told you what I was using and how much. And I've also included some photos of all of my blocks so far. So hopefully that helped give you all a little bit of info there. You could work out and not what you need. There we go. See, that's quite nice, isn't it? It's a nice little border. But we've still got these dots to deal with because they're sort of sticking in midair. So the idea is, do you go across? Do you create a curve? Or you can go in a zigzag. We've done that already with similar thing, I think, with the hot air balloon. So my choice, I'm going to go across, but you can see I've got to go underneath what's already there. So thank you, Sue. Appreciate that. So that's going to go under, see, forming a little cross. And then this way, under, forming a little cross. So already I've completely changed the design from the one shown. But it's just nice, isn't it, to have a little bit of a change now and again. Do something a bit different. Okay. So far it looks alright, doesn't it? So let's take it along here as well. Remember, I'm going to ignore those little bits of red there because I can iron them out later. But I'm glad I tried it first. So then into this one, I'm going to go along here. And each one's crossing underneath the other. So again, if you wanted to use your friction pen and draw the whole shape, sort of going across the whole thing, and then just come in with a pen on the bit you need, you can do that. It gives it a better shape sometimes if you're not so sure. Going to go with it, seeing along there, and keep it going into this one. And that's sort of kind of how it's going to go all the way around and along. So do any of you already have ideas on how you're going to quilt this and what you're going to do, or are you going to wait for me and follow along? It really doesn't matter if you know what you're doing. After doing this, you can do your own thing with it. If you're not sure, I'm going to go all the way through. I'm going to do every little bit with you, so not to worry. Okay, there you go. So that's created a nice little pattern there, and it's not too sort of in depth, and it's not too heavy. Oh, okay, Chris and Terry and Sue. Yeah, we're all doing it together then. Not a problem. You see, if we have a look at this, you see it's quite heavy and quite a thick sort of border. So I'm just easing that off a little bit. So what would I do from here to here then? This kind of thing. Where would this go? I'm going to come back to that when I've done this section here, because it's just nice, I think, to see where it goes. So back to my instructions, look. The next stage, and we'll ignore this for a bit, come to this one. You see, it's given me a bit of a grid to work my way around there. So let's put a grid in. Coming in with my friction pen here, because that's where we want to put our lines in. So that's our 9, 12, 6 and 3 o'clock. And then putting the rest in, what we're going to do here, I'm sort of following these dots a little bit. I'm going to have sort of a line there, see, creating that square there. So the same one here. I'll do the same there, look. And there. And then I've got these sections here, so let's have a look at these. If I was to put one in the middle, they'd be quite big. So I'm going to aim for 3 sections in there. So if I take that along, 3 sections. And again, 3 sections in each one. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4 along each side there. Just helps a little bit. So into the next section then, let's have a look. Now, what does it tell us? It tells us about doing this little shape round here. And then it's saying, okay, you're going to do a zigzag. And then you've got a line splitting it. And then you've got a couple of curves. Okay, so if I draw in that first bit then. Now it's sort of saying start here, so let's put that one in. And then that one. And again, if you're not sure, you could always say, am I going to imagine that's going there, isn't it? Use your friction pen first. And then up. You see? So there, I'm going to go across that edge. And across that edge. So looking at the next bit, I'm going to get that shape there. And then across that edge. And then again, zigzag across. Again, imagine that's going to be there. So it's not a full sort of a zigzag. And then across. And then this one. And this one. Okay. So we've got that kind of a design going on there. So it does suggest that these lines now, if you're happy with them, we can put them in. So let's put those in. I'm going to do all of them that way first. And then all this way. So this one, yeah, I'm still going to put it in. Not that I'm following the instructions exactly, but it does say that in there. So all of them go in. It's nice to do it at first, just in case your zigzags don't quite match. Then you can always change your lines to suit, can't you? That's all fine. All right, next bit then. So, okay, it sort of says this one here, we're going to sort of have a line going this way. So let's look at all of those. So it's not going to be that one, it's going to be the same one is there, look. Okay. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in there because I think that's going to help. So there, and there, and there. So let's do this one. So I'm going to come across that one. And I'm going to go across them. So then I'm going to go here and put that little shape in. And here, so every time I've got this sort of triangle on the other side there, it's going to go in and there. And then again, it's going to finish that one off there. Okay, so let's just have a close look at that before we go any further. So we've not touched these triangles at all. We're on the inside triangles and we've put like a little square shape in there. Okay, little square shape. All the way around, when we've got to the corners, we've gone across, see? And then again, you've got your little squares up and in there. Okay, so you can see that. There we go. So that's the first little bit. So now we're going to look on the triangles that go on the outside, which is this one, look, these. And then here, this one. Then all the way around these on the outside. And we're going to put a curve there. And a curve there. And then another. See, that's not going to, because it's the points there, so you're not going to see all of that one. It gives that impression it's actually going to go underneath. And a curve. So if I turn it, curve, so they're all on the outside edge. Again. And again. And again. So all of them are on that outside edge. Just going to add that one curve all the way around. See, it's starting to build now, so we do need to focus and just to be sure that we've got things in the place. Even if they're not in the exact same place, it doesn't really matter. It's just about getting them similar, isn't it? So that's where we're at so far. Now it does suggest in the instructions that we do 2 curves in there, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go from the same point, I'm going to extend it out over the first one that we did. I'm still working from the same points, but just widening it up a little bit. And to this one in the corner, and then along, and just sort of keep it going. Just a little decorative edge there. And doesn't take too long, that. I think once you've got that first one in, you know where you're going with it. And along. Into those extra bits and into there. Okay, so we've got that kind of thing. So being that we've put this line in here, I think what's going to look nice here is if we fill the rest of that shape with lines, using that one as the middle and then working outwards. I'll come back to the corners in a little while. So again, lines both sides, and the same here and there. So all the way around, creating that little, it looks like it's going underneath, it's starting to give it a little bit of dimension before we add any shade or anything. And then the next one, and along there, and of course just sort of keep it going. I'll do the corners in a minute. And there's that one, and to that one. So looking at the corners now, see I've turned the corners so the point is vertical with me. So if I put that one in as a middle, and then do this side and that side. Hello Chris. Nice of you to join us, alright? And please, if anybody's got any questions, please feel free to ask. I know I don't manage to get through all because I've got my head down drawing, but I'll answer if I can. Okay, so there we go. See, we've got this nice sort of area now filled in. So what we're going to do with these bits, because we've got little shapes and things going on there as well, haven't we? So again, I said I was going to change it up a little bit. So I'm going to focus on these lines that I'd got, the verticals that we drew in. And you should be able to sort of see them a little bit clearer because there's that red line underneath where I used the friction pen. And being that we've got these sort of curve shapes going on, I'm going to bring those in and put one on either side of the shape there. So let's do that next one. Okay, so when I come to this one, I'm going to do the same. That's in the corner, like that. And then turn it round. And the same again on that corner. And this one. Just putting those little lines either side. And again. You see how we sort of follow the same pattern? It gives it that little bit of consistency all around the piece. Just like so. And that one. Let's have a little look at that. Okay, so we've got all those going around there. So we've still then got this line here. There's a couple of things we could do there. We could add another one of those curves in, or we could use it to create lines again. You see the difference and the variations that you can do depending on where you want to go with it. So I'm going to stick with these shapes and put one of those on each of those lines. So might as well do all those while they're on that angle. So any line now that I find that's sort of on its own, it needs that little bit of depth or shape to it. Oh, Sue, have I missed one? Oh, I'll go round and I'll do them all. I know. Oh, yeah, I'm terrible. I always, yeah, I always end up missing one, don't I? There we go. All around. It's a good job you are watching. to there, and that one. Okay, is that all of them? So it's given me a very different design than the one that's actually in the instructions. Let's just go back to that front page. You see, it's quite dark and heavy, and there's a lot going on. You can see that those little lines there that we've just done, and you've still got those curves in, but we've taken some of this out. I know, Terry, I'm just testing you. And you can see there, it's just a little bit cleaner for fabric. That was all I was thinking. Because sometimes you can add a little bit too much. Paper, different matter. Fabric, let's keep it a little bit neater. So, okay, and what I want to do now is I've got this sort of design here. I can leave this. If we look at the instructions, see, it's just been left plain. Or we can actually put some little stripes or things in. I'm undecided, because we've left this, does it look a bit too plain? I think maybe so. So I'm going to come in with a slightly thicker pen. I've got my 05. There we are. And what I'm going to do is put slightly thicker line. See where each one of those sort of joins on. So when it comes to the corner, I'm going to put one in the corner, like so. And then this one. Oh, thank you, Terry. It's yes, it's just sometimes we simplify a little bit, just makes a bit of a difference. You don't have to do everything that's on there. There's so much you can look at, and you just take your own bits and what you want to do with it. You see how I've just marked those off because they had a little change in the time and things like that. So, okay, looking at these now, we've got spaces again. So what I'm going to do is, if I was to do it this way, you see it's a bit square, so it's got to be sort of more, you know, like we did with these. So if I follow these, look, you see, and put them in at an angle, you see it looks a bit better. So whether you want to do that and draw them in first with your friction pen, you see the difference? So looking at this, if I was to do that, it'd look a bit odd. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to turn it and follow this as my guide. You see? And there. And it'll just go around that shape a little bit easy. You see? It's looking a little bit rounder. So here, look, I can get one in. On there. I mean, even if you've got to use a straight edge, just so you can indicate where they are. That's it. We just want that little bit of shape in there. And this one here, look, see it's coming in there. There, see, even though there aren't any dots there with the stencil, we're still using it to help us. So this one, there, and there. So we've got some thicker lines going on. All right. So back to my number 3. I'm not using a 2 on fabric. I am sticking with my 3. We've been doing that all along. So I'm not about to change just because I've got a new pen size. And honestly, I think the 3 for these has worked brilliantly anyway. It's a good size. Certainly when working on fabric, it's okay, this one. Okay, so I'm putting a little line around each side. See, one there, look, see the difference in thickness? I think so, Sue. I think it's a little bit easier on the eye, isn't it? It's not so busy. And we can just focus on the main event. I like the outer frame, actually. I think it's lovely. I could put a row of bubbles in. We'll have a look at it and see what we think when I've done it. And this one. So all the way around. And onto this one. So it just gives it a little bit of shape, doesn't it? And then here, what I'd probably do with my colours is add some colour on either side of this. So colour here and here, and blend it into the middle a little bit. Okay. These little spaces here. I'm going to put some little bubbles in. You can put lines on, but I've already got lines sort of there, so I'm going to go with bubbles and just fill the little bits in. Hello, Jane. Seen you sneaking in there, you all right? There we go. A bit different. Let's have a look. There you go. So we've got a bit of darkness in here, and then of course it's just easing out, and I like how this is worked. But I think this and this needs a bit of a contrast between the two. So I'm going to come back in just for a minute with that 5. Oh, that's nice, Jane. And I'm going to come back in, just thicken up that space there, you know, just that line. Just to bring it out a little bit. And show it that it's different from the other. I know we do that with colour, but we'll do it with the pen while we're at it as well. You see? And then same on the inside here. So if you want to put your stencil back on to draw around, you can do that. But I'm going a bit freehand there. And then that one. And that one. Okay. So now it's about the clock face itself. I'm coming back in with that 3, and it's if you look at the design there, you see it's sort of a cracked paving slabby kind of tangle. There it is, look, sort of very random lines. So I'm going to do that, but I'm not going to put many in. So entirely up to you. Again, back with my 3, and I'm not put any numbers on anything at the minute. I'm just going to come in and put some little lines in. So you can go to town and do loads of these, but say I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put a few in. Oh, did you, Jane? Oh, brilliant. I've not seen that myself yet at Papercraft Society box. I've not seen the unveiling. You have to put as a link on so we can see. Okay, you see what I'm doing now? Look, I'm coming around those shapes. But when I get to the corners, I'm just curving them ever so slightly as I work my way around. So this quite a large one, just sort of let the pen do the work. Don't press on too much. And if you've got to stop, stop. Follow it round, creating that shape. And again with this one. And just take your time with it. So don't press on with your pen, just let it flow as it works its way around. And unlock. And into the next. Now again, you've got choice with this, because you see these little gaps that you're forming. You can choose to fill them in with ink if you want to, or you can leave them. With ink, obviously, it's going to be a little bit bolder. So let's have a look at this. Yeah, so you've got just a little bit of a design in there. So our next step, I'm not going to come in and put numbers. I think it's quite small. I'm putting numbers in. I don't really want to do that. So you've got a choice. Again, you could bring in every single one of these dots, which would give you your 12. Or you could decide to put your 12, 6, 3 and 9 in and leave it at that. But decision's yours. And again, they'd look great as French knots. Let's have a look. I'm going to come in with, let me just change to my 5 pen, because what I'm going to do, whilst I've got it in situ, I'm going to fill them in. Okay, so they look like that, see? And I'm going to do my 6. I'm going to do the 4 first and see if I'm happy with that. And there's my 9. And there's my 3. I can always come in and add the rest after. Okay, you see? So I've got those. Now I think it does need them, but, let's have a look. Rather than do the whole dot, let's just do a slightly smaller one inside each, just to give it a bit of a difference. They're quite big dots, aren't they? have a look at that. Okay. So let's just going to go around them just a little bit more. So they're there. You can see it's the clock face, but a bit nicer there. And then we've got the two different hands here. So again, I'm just going to switch back to my 3 because they're kind of fine. And let's put the largest one on first. Let's have a look. It's going to go down here somewhere. See, I'm going to line up the dot with the hand with the middle bit there. So it's sort of, let's have a look, 36-ish. Let's put that in. Let's draw those in. Again, just sort of really gentle with that pen there. There's one. I'm going to accentuate that little triangle there. So I've got that. And then the smaller one, it's going to be, I'm not going to go to the 3. You see that's a little bit long for that there. I did that because if you're going further down and it was a bit short, it'd look a bit odd. So what you could do is move this along to suit. So rather than put the circle, let's go a bit bigger. You see, if I did it there, look, it's sort of sticking out, which you could have. But if I did it there and it looked too short, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down to sort of here-ish. But you see, I'm more interested in this little bit. I've already got a dot in. So let's put it in about there. I'm looking at the time we're on now, actually. And with a lot of my images, if I've got a clock in, I will actually put the clock in, or the time in, as to when I actually look at the clock when I'm doing it. There you go. But it could be a specific date, couldn't it? Or a time. It could be whatever you want it to be. You can have whatever time you like. There you go. Let's have a little look at that. Okay. So the time's in. We've got that bit around. We've got this bit going on in here. And I think just to finish this edge off, I know, Terry. I am going to come round and I'm going to put a row of bubbles on the outside there. Now what you'll see is the bubble that we used, or the dot to create that shape, is now going to disappear in and amongst the rest. There we go. Alright. So similar in size, follow the shape round. And again, you don't have to do this. You could have done this on the inside. I'm just going to give it a bit of a frame around the edge. But everybody's is going to be different as we work our way around. Gotta have bubbles, Marion. Gotta have bubbles. This is our last block. Okay, just gonna turn it round and continue that. Now there's nothing stopping you actually tangling more on these blocks. If you don't want it to be really precise and in the middle. Oh, Sue, that's a good idea. Do you think so, Jane? I don't know. To be fair, I'm actually working on all the designs and things, so I've had quite a day of trying to be chilled. Every time you move, though, every time you sit down, you end up with a dog next to you, and then when you try and get up again, he won't let you. But it is Sunday afternoon. Nobody's in a rush. You see, you get into the throes of this and you find that the shapes are coming. But yeah, I was saying you can actually, if you want to add more flourishes and things, you can go out of the frame and add a few extra bits and pieces if you want to. I know some of you have been adding beads and embroidery and stuff, so you can. I'm not going too crazy because I'm trying to keep to the original block or the pattern just in case. But of course, each one is yours. Oops. Almost done with this. I think obviously before I put any colour on, I need to give it a bit of an iron just to remove that friction pen. So let's have a look. There we go. Let's go a bit further if I can. That's about as much as I can do. There you go. So looking at that then, a lot simpler than what it shows you on there. Nothing stopping you, you can do that, it's absolutely fine. I just thought for the fabric it was a little bit heavy than what I wanted to go, so I've kept it quite sort of simple there. And yeah, really like it, really pleased with it. So you can do whatever you like, you can add more to it, you can go with the example on the instructions, or you can leave it at that. So let's just have a quick look through then. Of course, I say I need to put some colour on that, but working our way through, here we go. So that's the first one we did. I don't know if these are in order. There's our star. Love that in the middle. We did the cross. I know some did different, but there's the original cross. My mum loves that one. Dragonfly. And we've got the bee. Hummingbird. That's a really nice frame, isn't it? I wonder if anybody's used that since on your paper crafts. There's our little feather or our leaf. Our little fan. The light bulb. Again, some of you did the hot air balloon, if you turn it round. Then that was our little vine wreath type of shape. That's the last one we did. That's our shell. And then just needs a bit of colour now. There's block 12. Goodness me. So, okay. What do you need to be doing this week? Of course, you need to get this done and sorted. And then you need to decide where you're going to put them. Because you see, look, this one, it's got the orange fabric this side and the pink there. Whereas this one's got orange and then pink there. So you need to sort of decide where they're going to go. That's the idea. And then cutting your pieces. Again, I'm not going to cut these on air next week, but I'll have them cut ready. So we already know the material that we need. This is the finished size of the quilt or thereabouts. So doing the top, this is what you're going to do. You've got plain fabric, and then you've got fabric 1, and you've got fabric 2, and you've got your interfacing. The plain fabric we've already done, haven't we? That's the blocks. This is this one that we've been using. So that you can tick off. Oh, where's my pencil? I like to tick things off. I can tick it off, job done. And we've also done that because they've gone together, haven't they? So here I should have highlighted that as well, shouldn't I? So let's just underline that and underline that. Now, of course, we've all got different fabrics. So your orange might be blue and your pink might be green. So if you want to actually label that there, which one is your orange and which one is the back. Now, Terry, I've had a think about that, and I'm not so sure if I'm going to quilt as we go, because otherwise that means we've got to either zigzag or hand stitch it together, and it's not going to look like the original quilt. So let me think about it. So don't cut any backing yet, okay? I think what I'll do, if I remember next week, I'll actually do one of each so you can see it. I think that's probably going to be the best. But I don't know. I haven't really thought about that yet. I'm going to have a look at it this week and make my mind up. So don't panic. So what you are going to do, because this doesn't include your backing fabric, this just includes the strips to make the front piece. Okay. So let's have a look, because it does say, look there, for the front of the quilt. So first things first then, on your orange fabric, you're going to have to cut however many strips it says. Look, cut 1 of full width fabric, strip 4.5 inches. And then you're going to cut that 4.5 inches long strip into 8 4.5 inch squares. Okay. Okay. So that's what you've got to really read before you do it. So it's saying cut 1 full width of the fabric. So even if you folded that in half, you could still cut it at 4.5 inches, and then you cut it into 4.5 inch squares. You need 8 of them. Okay. And if you look at the picture, there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's what they are cutting. Okay. And then 5 full width strips. So again, you could actually fold your fabric in half, and then you cut it at 2.5 inches, and then you take those strips and cut them into 8.5 inch by 2.5 inch, 24 of those. So just take it your time, follow the instructions, cut the strips as it's saying. I mean, if you're still not sure, the best thing you can do is actually draw it out using your friction pen first, and then you can work it out. Okay, so whatever your orange is, write it there so you remember. Same with this one, and take it each step at a time. And then looking at this, you can see where certain ones go, so it's going to help you along a little bit anyway. So take your time with it, and if you're not sure, to say, I'll have mine cut ready next week, and I'm going to show you how to do how to probably do the first row, and then I think the rest of the rows you can do it, and then the following week we'll look at putting it together. So we'll do something like that. Okay, so all right then, with that done and sorted, you've got all your 12 blocks now, and you've got your fabric hopefully ready to cut all the front up. So, okay, have fun with this one. Let me know how you get on. Any questions, obviously, please feel free and ask. And I'll see you next week. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye.